Another beautiful day in Africa. While I'm figuring out all these new settings, I sit that way. Beautiful, happy Wednesday to one and all. Today, I just thought I would touch up on something. I don't know, I like how I always start that every single week where I say I just thought I would touch up on something. So, my guest that I invited today had a bit of an issue with logging in, and he was in studio. Then I see he's gone off. So I'm sure he's having a few technical issues, which is understandable in this day and age. But in the interim of waiting for him, if he makes it today, you know, life is a very, very interesting thing. A lot of people are going to have opinions about you. A lot of people are going to think that their opinions matter more than they really do. A lot of people are going to hate that other people may like you. It bothers them. And, you just got to let it be. Just got to let it go. I've lost people in my life who've meant the world to me, and I'm doing just fine. Relationships that didn't want to be loyal to me, I'm doing just fine. Relationships that will blame me for doing the things that they did, not taking into account what would have got me to where I got to. And I'm doing just fine. And people want to go. You got to let them go. It just is one of the inevitabilities in life. No matter what you do for certain people, they will never appreciate it. They will look for any excuse or reason based on what it is that their environment is about to get you to fit into the norm of their environmental understanding, because in their environment, they may not have people that treat them good. They may not have relationships in their circle of friends or family that have lost it. So they don't understand how relationships should last like they used to back in the olden days. And it's just very, very interesting. It's just this constant ignorance between men and women. Men being stupid enough to tell women that they'll love them when they feel like it, when that's the only thing that women want, love, and women being utterly oblivious to the one and only thing that men want, and that is respect. And then they both wonder how come they can't keep relationships. It's very simple. We are who we are as a species. We have one side which wants to be loved and cared for, and we have one side who wants respect. All the additional extras of fancy things and dinners and lunches and cars and clothes and gifts and presents, these are all the translation of the fundamental basis of that women want to be loved and men want to be respected. It really is very simple. It's not that complicated. And a lot of people they don't understand this. And they blame their self-esteem, they blame their environment. And also, I just said something very interesting about self-esteem. Self-esteem, self. How could you ever go through life allowing anybody else to change your self-esteem, which is your esteem of the self, and allowing anybody else's opinions to matter on your self-esteem to affect how you see yourself? That's how you treat others and how you behave, because it all comes internally. Life is an internal state of existence, except for the retarded few that think that everything is lived outside, and they attach all of their values to what they look like to other people and the stories they make and the lies and the fake facade that they believe is life, when life really is an internal state of existence about who you are internally, thus coming from your self-esteem, being your self-esteem, yourself, that nobody else should ever have any opinion over. Yeah, and that's just one of the nice ways of me trying to have a nice version rather than coming out and telling people, just get it together. Stop talking so much. Be epic. Stop blaming things. Just go and do. 9 out of 10 people statistically have been proven to not even know that they're just another average 9 out of 10 people with this entire facade that they create of a fabricated importance that they believe that they have on reality, when they are just another 9 out of 10 average people in society. And they go and they ask opinions from other people as to what it is, what other people think. And, for me, just before I let my guest in, for the love of God, please stop listening and taking advice from the average person about what they think. You have no idea how stupid the average person is. And with that, like I said, I'm still trying to be nice and cute and not come out and tell people to get it together with hard love. Let me introduce my guest, Adrian Naidu. He's a very old friend of my family's. And Adrian, what's happening, my brother, with your technical issues?
Yeah, sorry. A little bit of issues with the Wi-Fi, yeah. How's things going? How are you?
Yeah, all good, my brother. Just a series of shows. My older brother, Reza, and I, we thought we would start. Funny enough, it was actually Reza's idea to start the show. And then as it started growing, he started getting too busy. And I decided to take it on and invite people such as yourself that we grew up with and just talk about life. Adrian, what's happening? How's married life? How's life in the petroleum world? How's life, my brother?
Married life is good. It's
Yeah.
a lot better being married for me. I'm a lot happier, a lot better person, not doing the most stupid things I was doing before. So got some better direction and growing my business.
An anchor. Let's call it an anchor.
Yeah. So it's been good. The petroleum business is hectic. There's a lot of people involved in it. So it's all these top guys that you're competing against. And pricing is a big factor.
It remains the world's number one cartel mafia-like government political business in the world.
Yeah, it's hectic. So look, we're growing slowly, steadily. In the gas side, I'm taking on some big boys. Taking them on, but they slowly trying to come back at me, trying to scare me out of taking their business away. So
they push back. Everybody is threatened by somebody who's different. I literally did a post about that today, and I was talking about it to my cousin last week in last week's episode, where we spoke about, you look at our history as humanity, where 1,000 years ago, anybody that tried to do anything different, not even 1,000, it wasn't even that long ago, was considered a wizard or a witch. And they were essentially considered as a threat of trying to change the existing system. Now, that is the core basis of what entrepreneurship is. It is a guy coming along and saying, I've got a new approach to how things should be done, And what is that going to do? Such as guys in your position, it becomes a threat to the old hierarchy and the old gatekeepers and the way that they essentially ran the system. So it's you know what, it just is the way that it's going to be in business for you when you come along and you say you're going to do things differently, you're going to offer different services but at a better price. You know that's going to threaten people. You knew that before you started.
Yeah, look, I think they are. Service, I think, is the main thing. You can't place an order with these big guys and expect it tomorrow. They've got a lead time. You must wait as a client 5 days. And they've got you contracted in. So unless you either accept it or get penalized. So
whether you like it or not, you're not going to get service. Is that pretty much what they do to people?
Yeah, you can get guys like me that come in and say, listen, you in shit, I'll make sure you're not ever in trouble, whether it's 10 o'clock at night or you got an event and you're out of gas or out of diesel, I'll be there to service you. And that's pretty much what I'm trying to sell, but it's so hard for them to get away from the big boys and just let go and have trust in a smaller company trying to make something.
Yeah, brother, it's also, listen, we've also had that issue quite a few times with the stuff that we're doing at StartX, where we've pretty much come into the investment industry and we said, hey, we're the new guys, where the biggest problem in the investment industry is founders don't know where to go for capital and investors don't really like going through massive amounts of founders. So theoretically, we've created something that fixes a problem in the industry. But exactly like you said, when it comes down to that one-on-one meeting, the guy thinks to himself, hey, wait, these guys are the new mavericks. Let me see how things are with the old gatekeepers because I'm so comfortable working with them. And, it just takes time, hey, brother. It just takes a bit of a relationship building to show these guys that you will do what you say you're going to do and you will do it even better than those other guys that they're used to. And it's just human fear, right? We all just fear trying something new.
Yeah, it's putting yourself out of the comfort zone and exploring a different way of doing things. And I think, like you said, they're comfortable with their current supplier, and that's where their comfort zone is. So they're comfortable with the procedures, the ordering system. And I mean, if they don't get an order, that's when I come in. But I'm not trying to say no to the business. I'm still there to supply them, but I'm picking up the scraps of these big guys who are manipulating the market for themselves in a way.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, shit, and this is the problem with business, bud, and you know this, and this is a fact, is that even if you look at companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, they were also all exactly where you were, turning around and saying, we want to give that extra service that the other bigger guys don't give. But then essentially, once they start growing, it becomes that decision is now, are you driving the business to the comfort of what is good for the business or to the comfort of what is good for the client? So playing devil's advocate, the bigger corporation guys, especially in your industry, they've lost control of what their initial vision was to look after the consumer. Because at some stage, they had to even turn around and say, no, bud, we can't do every request that a consumer wants because it has a bigger ripple effect on what the business is doing in the bigger turnover, marginal, bigger picture for us to remain a big guy. And I think when you fall into the system of working for these big companies, you also become a little inundated to it. You also forget that you started off as a consumer-based company, but then now you're on this corporate routine. And I think that's just essentially what happens. As you start scaling, you have to make that decision: is do we scale the business or do we put a smile on every consumer's face? Yeah, it's tricky, man. It's pretty tricky,
I think
brother.
also the way growing your business, you got to grow to look after your clients, not just have them as a client. You got to have that relationship with them, keep in touch with them, make sure they're happy with your service, or if there's anything you need to do different or communicate with them. At least like they have that understanding with you, and they know they can just pick up the phone and call, say, listen, this is what I need, can you assist, or whatever it may be. I mean, it's not just limited to supplying them gas. It's maintenance of their lines or whatever it may be.
It's having a relationship.
Yeah.
Having a relationship with people.
Yeah, so, I mean...
Sorry? You were saying? Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead, brother.
Just
my brain thinks really quick, so I always jump out with stuff. But go ahead, brother.
No, just like how everyone's grown in their respective industries. With all our friends and stuff from school, we've seen everyone in different employment,
different sectors.
Yeah, different sectors.
Different sectors, different mindset, working to a different structure. But that again, you know why this thing is it's hitting a nail on the head for me, this discussion. Because today I literally was trying to contact Twitter to explain to them that I cannot get my phone number verified and get a subscription with you so that I can actually pay you on a monthly basis. And there is no actual channel of communication to these guys, that they've gotten to such a point where even if you're trying to get a subscription with them to pay them, if a small problem, such as like you can't verify your cell phone number, which I've had my cell phone number for, I think, 24 years now, there is no way to connect to these bigger corporates. And it's not just like the Twitters. It's also like, exactly like you said, the bigger gas players. It's the bigger petroleum players. It's the bigger manufacturing players. It's the guys have certain ways that they do things. And you need to somewhat fit within what they've said, that this is how it works. You can't randomly phone them and say, hey, there's a problem with my diesel supply, some water. Exactly like you said, the guy's going to say to you, yeah, but we've got a couple of day turnaround time. Regardless of if the problem is in your business today, they've lost that relationship with their client base. And I don't know if does this come when you start making a lot of money, that you stop you start becoming detached from the need of the consumer? Or is it that the corporates put in all of these structures that even if you're an employee who does want to help the consumer, it's not worth the risk to your job to break out of the structure that's been put in place? Justice, brother, it's very tricky, especially for big companies that make a lot of money, because a lot of money is at stake. So
yeah, but also, like, if you look at the small amounts they're making, let's say, call it 5-10 grand, times that by 100 clients. In the bigger scheme of things, it's a lot of money. It might be small amounts through 100 clients, but if you look at the big picture, it's a lot of money coming in. And if you're not looking after your 5,000, 10,000 rand clients, you're not going to have those 100 clients at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Someone might come and take over, or your contract might end. And this is where it leaves a gap for people like me, the new guys coming in.
Leaves a gap for the players such as you.
Yeah,
no, you're 100% right, brother. But then remember again, who's got? So every big company would, let's theoretically say, would have a client relations department. A client relations department would have a client relations manager, and let's call it client relation assistants. But do you see how that even already like has a hierarchy of here's the rules, here's the rules, here's the rules. Even if you as an assistant do care to help the 10 of the 10,000 $10,000 clients, it doesn't fall within company structure. Do you know what I mean? And then these guys but you know what, brother? I think it's just the corporate way that things have just become, that as soon as you start implementing certain structures to the way that things have to run, and the actual high-end founders and the guys that started the business will start losing grip of it, it will always cause a rift for people such as you who are the founders that have full control over their business to come and see that gap. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
it's a perfect thing for you, is that the guy who started the company and he did care about the $100-$500 clients. He no longer is on that ground level to be looking after them.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
So it becomes the picture that there you've now got the gap for guys like you to come in. It's almost the same as, in Africa. And I've traveled the world, that I've lived in different countries. I've gone and seen different places and perspective and such. And, everyone complains about Africa has got such a lack of governance and such a lack of structure and systems. But you've been to Europe. There is literally no opportunities when there is such structure and system. So it fundamentally plays within the business space as well. Do you know what I mean? If you are going to be a very well-structured organization, let's talk about it contextually within business or a country, you leave no opportunities for other people to see the gaps in the market. So yeah, you should be grateful that these bigger companies and these guys, they've lost grip of the client relations, brother. It's in your favor.
Look, got to capitalize on it while I can. But yeah, we're doing pretty well. My side, enjoying. I'm actually, I don't know if you remember Sanjeev. He's getting married.
Yeah, I remember.
He's an accountant, so yeah, it's good to see everyone growing in the industries, and yeah, also learning from other people's hardships, like what they're going through. How do they process it, and how do they make it better for themselves? You can always learn from someone. So I take that all in from.
That I'm a big believer of, my brother. I even believe you can learn from stupid people.
Yeah.
I'm actually a firm believer that you will learn more from a fool than you will from an intelligent man. Huh? That I'm a very big firm believer of.
Yeah.
You just gotta listen. Eh? Such as you've seen my younger brother's now become a lecturer as well, and he's doing very well in the universities as well. So yeah, I know what you're saying. Everybody going into different sectors and different places, and yeah, and although this is a life, personal, health, wealth, and love show, it's very good once in a while to get that business perspective of what's happening in different sectors. Because exactly what you're touching up on is pretty much, brother, it's a fundamental thing that's happening actually in all business sectors. That the smaller guys that can build the client relationships are the guys that get the, let's call them disgruntled, big corporate clients, because they eventually understand that the bigger the fish comes, they can't work with them like they used to. So yeah, and then
that's true.
And then what's happening in the personal side of things? What's going on in life? Any life journeys, experiences, spiritual stuff you're going through? Because people love talking about that stuff. Huh?
Look, we just bought a house. Well, not just last year. That was something else. Moving and renovating, cleaning up, making sure you maintain the house. It's stuff that I didn't need to do until I moved in with my wife and we bought the house and all of that. So that was a shock, a very good shock. I feel like I've grown a lot from that personally, a lot more focused and diligent in things that I need to do. So yeah, that's one side. Also the family business. Well, not family business. The family side, having the relationship with my family. It's been not the greatest, but we've slowly come a long way from where we were, which is a good thing. So, and the family itself is in a better place than where it was 10 years ago. So, I'm very fortunate for that. It could have gone one or two ways, but yeah, that's always something to look up to or look forward to. And yeah,
Yeah, it's you know what I've realized? Families that go through the things, such as families such as yourself, and you know my family history, we've also had all sorts of things. These are always the families that bounce back a lot happier, hey? Have you noticed that? They actually come back more connected.
yeah,
They somehow bond, you know, exactly like you said, it could go in one or two ways. But even if it does go in the negative way, it eventually corrects itself and comes back. This is my experience from what I've seen in all the family dynamics. Because family dynamics are very hard, brother, especially when you got a lot of people involved in it. But
yeah,
you did say something that's phenomenal as well. The whole journey of moving in with your lady has taught you a lot, which is I believe that that is the day a man matures, when he actually has to live with a life partner. That's actually the day that a man actually becomes a real man because now it's more than just, you know, like the sexual stuff, it's the dinners, the fun, the getting along. It's the actual getting along with another human being that is a human being that has different emotional levels on a constant basis, especially women that changes constantly. And you now have to adapt to be in that environment. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Does that make sense? And it's
It's
a funny thing. It's like the person is different in the morning, then in the afternoon, and then at night. And now you got to live with this person. That is the trickiest thing in life to deal with, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. It is. You go through all the moods, yourself, there's all your routines. I mean, everything becomes one, and you've just got to make it work. And luckily, I've got an amazing wife that's made it very easy for me. But it is tough. How you have to sacrifice, you have to be patient, not just yourself, both sides, because I don't think I'm a very easy person, but I'm very fussy and I like things
Yeah,
done the way I like it done. And she's adjusted herself. I've adjusted myself. So yeah, there's a lot of sacrifices that go in, and we both grown. We both grown together. We've grown personally. We've grown in our careers. So yeah, so I'm very very fortunate and happy to have my wife, and she also
it's
pushes me. She
amazing.
doesn't like me like feeling down about work and stuff. She wants me to grow. She wants me to grow myself and be a better person in every avenue, not just in business as a person, fitness. Even though I put on weight now, but she always pushes me to do better and be better. So
You know, brother, they say that 90% of your entire life misery and happiness will come from choosing the life partner, huh? So I
yeah,
think you got it right. You got it right on that one. Because exactly like you said, when you find somebody that pushes you to be a better person in life, you become a better person in life. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's not rocket science. There's somebody that's always by your side that says, Adrian, this is what's happening. I understand. Terrible thing. You know, we've all had very terrible news and sad days in our life. Terrible incident happened, but I'm here. I'm by your side. How do we now become bigger? And how do we now become better? And how do we now grow to dealing with this? And it's
yeah,
phenomenal to hear. It's phenomenal to hear that you found somebody like that. It's an amazing feeling, my brother.
yeah. I'm very fortunate and thank you.
Beautiful,
So
brother. Yeah, brother. So, anything, anything on the spiritual side? Any new developments or things you've read about? Because people love. You know, we've gotten to a point in society that even as much knowledge as people are constantly learning and reading and understanding. Ah, I see we lost you there, but I'm sure your technological things you'll pop back on. We've gotten to a point in society where it's actually become very interesting that we have access to all of this information and we do know a lot of things, but we'd love to hear others feel what we are feeling on something that we resonate with. And it's really, you get all these guys that became famous from some of literally the stupidest things that a human being could possibly do for attention, but they just said what we already know, and we just believe that hearing it from them just confirms that it is all right for us to feel in that way that they've said it. So, yeah, with that said, you know what? Let me not take up anybody else's time. Adrian, thanks so much for your time, brother. It was very great to see you. You grew up with my younger brother, and you've always been a part of my extended family. It's great to hear that you're doing very well. And I understand you having technological issues because you're a man in the gas business, so it's understandable and fair. So, with that said, let me let everybody jump off. And at the beginning of this, I said something very, very important, which I just want to reiterate that I hope many have not forgotten. Please, for the love of everything, do not ask the average person what they think on things. You have no idea how stupid the average person is. You don't need their opinion, especially in this world where there's a stupid farm somewhere out there and someone has left the gate open to this farm that all these stupid people are all over the place with all of these opinions they have. So do what you think is right, believe in yourself, go after your dreams, and regardless of what the average person says, you've got this. And with that, mucho gracias, everyone. Wishing you an amazing day further. And I'm sure I'll catch everybody next week.